absolutely right. There is great cause for alarm right now. There is cause for celebration, and I think that we have to recognize that over the past 3 decades, it has not been possible to execute Mumia because there have been people all over this country, all over the world, organizing on behalf of Mumia Abu Jamal. And we haven't refused to give up. I was thinking, we're observing the 30th anniversary of Mumia's incarceration. And I can't believe it's been 30 years. But what's been really remarkable is how, despite all of the efforts to prevent this movement from coming together, and Jeff certainly knows this, people have persisted. People have remained in the ranks of the campaign to free Mumia Abu Jamal. And the fact that it has not been possible for them to execute Mumia is a testament to the growing campaign for Mumia's freedom. But he is not free. And he faces life in prison without possibility of parole, which is another kind of death. It is another kind of death. And those of us who have been adamantly opposed to capital punishment over the years, we cannot accept life in prison without possibility of parole as a viable alternative. It is another kind of death. As a matter of fact, it is extremely important, especially during this era, to link to the campaign to abolish the death penalty, the campaign to abolish prison industrial complex. They did not execute Mumia, but they did execute Troy Davis because they felt that they could. So we cannot forget Troy Davis, who offered us a mandate with his dying words. They did execute Stanley Tookie Williams because they felt that they could. And we cannot forget Stanley Tookie Williams. And we cannot forget Kevin Cooper, who continues to face the death penalty. So I think we should leave here this afternoon with several mandates for further action and further activism. As it has been pointed out, we need to redouble our energies to free Mumia. And let us remember that our hands are joined to the hands of people on every continent of this planet. Here we are gathered in Oakland at Laney College, and I think it's really wonderful that Laney has become this very vibrant center of activism in Oakland. Everyone associated with Laney. I was just here, when was it? Last week? I think for a wonderful event featuring John Carlos. But let's remember that our hands are joined to the hands of people all over the world, from Philadelphia to Berlin, and from Oakland to Johannesburg, and from Paris to Palestine. I was recently in Palestine, and there is a rising consciousness of the connection between political prisoners, Palestinian political prisoners, and political prisoners here in the U.S., especially Mumia. And let me just say that not too long ago, Palestinians were involved in a freedom ride. Because Palestinians are not allowed to ride the buses that And then you all remember the freedom song. Freedom is a constant struggle, right? Freedom is a constant struggle. We've struggled so long, we must be free. And I feel like we've struggled so long for Mumia that he must be free. But he is not free, and it is up to us to keep on struggling. Now, Mumia was the most prominent person facing the death penalty. People all over the world looked up to him as a symbol of the importance of saying no to capital punishment. And I believe that the authorities assumed that with Mumia no longer on death row, the international campaign to abolish the death penalty will wane. That may have been a part of the strategy to release him from a capital punishment. But we have to prove them wrong. We have to prove them wrong in the name of Stanley Tookie Williams, in the name of Troy Davis, in the name of Kevin Cooper, whose life we can save. Now, I think I have 3 points. 3 or 4, I don't know. Because I said we should leave here with a mandate to increase and enrich our actions and our activism. First of all, we have to dedicate this coming season to redoubled efforts to abolish the death penalty. And we know that Mumia is not going to let it, because all along he's told us that his opposition to capital punishment has not been primarily because he faced the death penalty, but because of the more than 3,000 people who remain on death row in this country, and because abolition of the death penalty will be a major blow against the prison industrial complex. So redouble our efforts to abolish the death penalty. Redouble our efforts to build a powerful prison abolitionist movement here in the U.S. and all over the world. We cannot create a better educational system until we prevent juvenile halls and adult prisons from devouring the resources we need to rebuild our broken communities. Over-incarceration and under-education, as Michelle Alexander has pointed out, as the NAACP has pointed out, are intimately connected. But we also have to make the connection to capitalism. Yes. Because over-incarceration is profitable. Education is not. Or at least public education is not. Because all of the private schools are trying to jump on the same bandwagons as the corporations that we're struggling against. Education should not be subordinated to profits. And we should also link this campaign to abolish the prison industrial complex to campaigns against police violence and other forms of state violence. And of course, Oscar Grant continues to symbolize this campaign, and he continues to inspire us here in Oakland and all over the country. Number 3, join the Occupy movement. Join the Occupy movement as a way of standing up against capitalism. And make sure that all over the country the demand to free Mumia, to bring him home, resonates through the ranks of the Occupy movement all over the world. And let me also say, support the ILWU. The ILWU is, I would say, the most radical union in the country. I'm talking about the rank and file. And remember that the ILWU Mumia Abu Jamal. That was like 1995. So let's go out tomorrow. 5:30 a.m. if you can make it.
Make it.
3, I think the rally is at 3, and then the march, another march to the ports at 4, and another one at 5 from West Oakland Bar. So several opportunities to get involved in this West Coast shutdown, port shutdown tomorrow. And finally, this is just the beginning. We are opening our hearts and minds to new possibilities, to a world that does not require obscene profits in order to function. A world that does not need to put people to death in order to prove its power. A world that does not need to cage millions of people instead of creating vibrant social institutions that will help solve the problems that send people to prison. We open our hearts and minds to futures where hierarchies based on class and race and gender and sexualities will have become a thing of the past. We use our hearts and minds to imagine futures where the 99% have equal claims to freedom, to joy, to happiness. Thank you.